amazing author, of course, is writing with his amazing book Confession of a Public Speaker by Scott Berkun. I can say all in one book, author with sarcasm, motivation, entertainment, guidance. OMG, isn't it engrossing? Actually, I had a lots of option of books to present, but this time I wanted something different. And I know I took a little more time than I should, but yeah. So, the book is presented in a simple language with real life experiences and cover right form of speech presentation to do and don'ts and checklist before giving the speech. And people who don't do any type of speaking, they can also go for this as we perform all the time. What I loved is his willingness to talk about the lessons he learned his way when things went wrong, like when electricity failed, when audience was lost, or when things weren't like as he expected. And of course, we get it way different when it's merely written what to do, while someone make you learn from their own experiences. He has provided deep insight of the industry and much useful information like how debates and speeches are shown on TV, but what's the actual situation there, the room size, and much more exciting things. And there is a secret about Scott Berkun, but we'll tell you after the chapters. There are the total 10 chapters, and from each chapter, I have found some important details which I'm gonna share with you. So, here we go. Chapter first, I Can't See You Naked. Audience is not judging as much as you think, as they don't care as much as you think. If some disaster happens, you can use the attention you have earned and do something good with it. The laughter from the story will do more good for the world than anything. People naturally overlook many things. Perfection is boring. Stop being perfect because obsessing about perfection stops you from growing. What matters more is how you frame your mistakes. So, first, avoid the mistake of trying to make no mistake, and secondly, know that your response to a mistake defines the audience response. Now, chapter 2, the attack of butterflies. The best place to start is with the realization that no one has died from giving a bad presentation. Fear of those failures is what motivates many people to do the work necessary to be successful. The body's reaction to fear and excitement is same, so it's up to you to use your instinct to help rather than to hurt you. Confidence, not perfection, is the goal. Practice wins. Reason for practice is that it allows you to safely make mistakes and correct them. Face those fears in comfort of your own room with your own mini bar as many times as you wish. Many a times parts of your body will respond in ancient ways to stress, no matter how prepared you are. And that's okay, it just means your body is trying hard to save your life. Next, chapter 3, $30,000 an hour. Sleep deprivation is a curse of the modern age, a problem born from our technological things. When it comes to sunrise, judge people by what they do, not what they say. Since you see your paycheck, you know exactly where you stand. Unfortunately, we obsess more about the 10% of the world who earn more than we do, than the 90% who earn less. No matter where you stand, someone would be happy to be in your shoes just as you would be happy to be in someone else. How long you can make an independent living purely on the merits of what you write and what you say. Chapter 4, How to Work a Tough Room. Place matters to a speaker because it matters to the audience. I knew the only trick was to start, as fear comes from what you imagine might happen instead of what actually is happening, and the longer you wait, the worse it gets. When you have the microphone, it's your room. Do whatever you would like to enhance the audience experience. Great speakers are connection makers, sharing an authentic part of themselves to create a singular positive experience for the audience. People seem angriest about is dishonesty. Some days, no matter what you do, some folks will hate you anyway. See if your fears are real or imagined. Chapter 5, Do Not Eat the Microphone. Seems anything but dumb, as the problem is not his ability to speak, it's his inability to think. To prepare well, you must do 4 things. First, take a strong position in the title. Second, think carefully about your specific audience. Third, Make your specific points as concise as possible. Fourth, know the likely counter arguments from an intelligent expert audience. If you want your talk to be good, you must let your list breathe. Travel, however, is excellent for finding new questions to ask. Some easy tricks for getting an audience involved. First, ask for a show of hands. Second, ask trivia and let people shout out answer. Third, give them a problem to solve. You are judge, jury and executioner. If people really love you, they will often stick around to hear more of what you have to say. Next, chapter 6, the science of not boring people. The answer to most attention problem is power. Uneven distribution of power is necessary to get things done efficiently. Think of your opening minute as a movie preview, filled with the drama, excitement, and the highlight for why people should keep listening. If you are too lazy to practice, expect your audience to be too lazy to follow. Know what the point is and what insight the audience will gain from what you are directing their attention to. You do not have to be perfect, but you do need to play the part. Chapter 7, Lessons from my 15 minutes of fame. The consistent lack of reality creates its own immersive world. The bigger the audience, the bigger you need to be. It's just a question of doing at the right level for the environment you are in. All the performers have a mindset they use when everything else is going wrong, and that's what gets them through. Sometimes what you say bores people. They will change the channel. So what, life goes on and most of the world won't even care. Next, chapter 8, the things people says. What's good for one person isn't good for another. We suck at both being honest with others and at listening openly and non-defensively when others are honest with us. Making laughter during the learning process a gift. Guess at what changes to make to do better next time. Sort out first what they want from speaker. Second, what the audience want from speaker. Third, what the speaker is capable of doing. If you are too scared to watch yourself speak, how can you expect your audience to watch you? Next, chapter 9, the clutch is your friend. All successful teachers must consider these 4 important questions. First, how many understand? Second, how many will remember later? Third, how many try to apply the lessons in the real world? Fourth, how many will succeed? I hear and I forgot. I see and I remember. I do and I understand. If your goal is to keep people interested, give them permission to let you know when they are having trouble following and are about to tune out. If you can't make the path, you don't understand your topic as much as your ego thinks you do. And about chapter 10, Confessions. As you can see, one of the best chapter, get to know about it in the book itself. And after this chapter, Scott has shared some miniature funny incidents of some authors. Incident and title are just boom. After reading them, you're gonna be like, you can't do worse than this. So now secret time. Actually, there is nothing like a secret, but on his website scottburken.com you can find his fantastic essays and article. Actually, I have mailed him the way I am impressed by his writing. Let's see if he would reply. Until you all know, keep going and don't worry, we will meet soon. Good luck.